wow, astonishing. I heard something, but that was really boom. So about me, at the meantime, I'm still trying to share the live on my page, but I'm not able to do that. Maybe later it will come somehow. So yeah, as I was telling, I'm originally from Italy. I actually when I let's tell the story in a different perspective. When I was 13, with my family, we moved from south to north for my parents' job. And when I was at that point, as you know, we have kind of different cultures between south and north of Italy, as in every place. I thought, okay, if I moved from the south to the north, why don't I just look for different places? So when I was 21, I moved in Sweden as an exchange student, and then I was working there. Then I moved back to Italy. I got a job, and then I lived for a while in Germany, and I got back to Italy, starting to work as a community manager, social media manager. That's how I started my social media career for one of the biggest competitors of Groupon at that time, and that's where I started learning about digital marketing, affiliate marketing, and social media. And then I moved in Barcelona. I lived in Barcelona for 2 years. Meanwhile, I always had passion for music, and I actually started composing music when I was 16 years old. So I was working as a marketing manager in the daytime, and I was working as a DJ in the nighttime. So I normally don't say this story, but because you think it's cool, that I would just say that. Yeah. And yeah, I actually, life in Barcelona was great because I was still working as a community manager. I actually remember that I started as an intern for the same company, and then I became the country manager for the social media for that competitor of Groupon. And then, the shocking moment came when the country manager of Italy asked me to go back to Italy. And at that time, I was 25. And I said, no way that I'm going backwards. No way I'm going back to Italy. So I did something really crazy that I normally don't say, but I quit the job. I got all the money, from closing the contract. And I remember I didn't have so much left in my bank account. I had something like 5,000 US dollar equivalent. And I started traveling around the world for 6 months. So I started from Barcelona, and I came back to Barcelona only going one direction. And I was at that time writing a travel blog, and I had a team of 20 writers. They were all, yeah, all freelancers, but they were all doing it for free because we believe in the same cause. The name of that blog was Connect the World. I had this idea. I wanted to connect different people, and I was actually, making a good, appearance and branding online. We were also on first page for some reviews of local restaurants and stuff like that. But then I had to leave because it didn't pay me enough. It was my first experience as a travel blogger, and I was still looking for a different job. So I moved back to Barcelona for a while. When I accomplished my tour around the world in this couple of months, I was broke. I remember I had to survive. Yeah, I had to
So were
survive
you
with,
just so you were writing this travel blog,
yes,
Connect the World, which I've
connect
always
the
wanted
world.
to do that too. I've always wondered about that. I know so many of us want to they wonder
Yeah,
are people making money doing that travel blog thing?
it's
Um,
really hard.
but so you had some money. You were working in marketing for a competitor of Groupon in
Yeah,
Barcelona. So you have
yeah,
amazing experience in marketing, just getting started off in marketing. I always say I have a couple of degrees in business, and I always say, like, why did I go for marketing? That's what matters. It's, you can create a business, but if you can't sell anything, you're stuck. So okay, so cool. And then you start this travel blog. You're not making any money, but you don't care because you're just
yeah,
living off the passion of it, and you're
yeah,
living all over the world and just writing and just experiencing life, and you're living off of that little pile of money that you put
yeah, yeah,
off
yeah, yeah.
from that job,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I was exactly doing like that. But then I knew that actually I was on a mission. I had to come back in Barcelona at some point. And it was so funny. I had so many adventures, and everything was documented on the blog that, I mean, unfortunately, is offline right now, and I lost the blog post because I whatever. And then, I mean, that's really a shame, but it was very interesting. So I came back to Barcelona. My mission was accomplished, and I had zero in my bank account. I had to find a way to survive, and I was looking for a job. And I had a okay marketing experience. I had at that time 3 or 4 years of experience in marketing. I actually started doing marketing more than 10 years ago, so now it's already 11 years. And I actually could speak a bunch of languages. At that time, I could speak fluently German, Spanish, Italian, and English. So what happened? I actually fell in love with Thailand. So my ultimate objective was to come to Thailand, but I couldn't find a job there. So that's how I started, spamming on every LinkedIn group. And the top 5 Amazon seller hire me in China, Shenzhen. So that's how I started, being connected with Amazon selling. Sun Valley Tech, they hired me. We went through a on and off 2 weeks of Skype calls. I had to wake up at 5 a.m. to have the call with the marketing team in Shenzhen. Eventually, they sent me the visa documents. They paid for my flight ticket, and I went there. I literally changed my life. I moved in China.
How did you find, so you were spamming LinkedIn groups, which I'm so like LinkedIn period is so foreign to me. I've had to like figure out LinkedIn, and I still don't have it figured out. Andy is much better at LinkedIn than I am. But so you're in these LinkedIn groups, which I think LinkedIn groups are kind of new, right? Like, I don't know. No? Okay, so I'm missing out. Clearly, I need to get more connected. Yeah. So you're spamming these LinkedIn groups going like, hey, I got these skills, like I'm looking for whatever. And you make this connection with this major, big top 5 Amazon seller in China, yes. Probably very yes. well connected. And what is this position that they're trying to hire you for?
So that's a very interesting story, and it pretty much went like this. I actually was looking for a job, and I was an avid user of social media already since 2010. So I've been in social media, and I mean working with social media since 2010. So yeah, LinkedIn groups already existed by 2013 at least, because I got the job 2014, and they were much more used than Facebook groups. Why? You know why? Because pages at that time, Facebook pages were much more used pretty much as groups right now, because you didn't have to pay so much for advertising. You had much more organic reach. So that's the thing. Now, if you want to have organic reach, you just use groups. What everyone is doing. So I get this job as a I was a assistant marketing manager for Italy. It took me 3 months to move from assistant manager for Italy to global marketing leader. 3 months in China. That's the power of China. It really is. Yeah. Yes. Why? There are many.
You're making me want to go back to work. Just because, you think of all of the opportunity to learn that's out there. And I have like a really big thirst for learning. And, I'm working with a big company in China right now, kind of helping them with their brand and stuff like that. And I just see it as such a huge opportunity, because even though, I go to China often and but there's so much, like you said, anytime you're doing something global, there is so much, it's so far beyond what we can see in our little corner of the world that, it's just an incredible opportunity. So I would go back to work for an opportunity where I could really get my hands into a business that I could later grow into something else. Right. So anyway, please continue. So you got global marketing manager.
Yeah. And, working culture in China is very, very different from our, Western working culture in Europe or in the US. I would say you guys in the US have more meritocracy. We in Europe are a little bit more stagnant. Pass me this term, it's okay. But in China, they're like kicking your ass. You have to go, otherwise you're out. And they have absolutely no problem in doing internal conflicts to choose who's the best. So they pretty much hire me for a much lower, job that I could do. And my boss at that time, she didn't even have a marketing degree. She couldn't even do anything, because they just needed to fill the gap at that point. So I was the best option in between all the different country managers at that time, and they just put me on top of them. But the interesting thing is that I worked for 1 year with this company that owns some of the best brands on Amazon today. For example, Tautronics, and Raf Power. Yes, I've been developing their business, and they were the main competitor of Anchor, that is number one on Amazon, we could say.
Yes, Anchor's huge.
And the next year, I got a job offered by one of their competitors. They just gave me a piece of paper and they say, okay, write down what do you want. And they hire me as a marketing director. And I was managing 5 teams, something like 35 people. I was 28. That would never happen in Europe, in Italy, to a guy like me. Yes. So that was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. And I started learning more and more about, not only Chinese culture but also about Amazon marketing. And then
So
because
were you living in China at that point
yeah,
then?
I was
Okay,
still
so
living
you
in
moved
Shenzhen,
so you stayed in
Barcelona.
Italy at first because you were the Italy marketing manager. Then you moved to China to be over global marketing. Then you got another job as a director position. And
Yeah,
so you're still in China. Got it. Okay,
yeah,
I'm following.
yeah, yeah. So I stayed 2 years in China. The first year with this one seller where I was marketing leader, and the second year I was marketing director, managing 5 teams. And I learned a lot of things about Amazon marketing, coming from a SEO and social media background. So I put all of them together. But the most important thing that really pushed me to open my own Amazon consulting business was the business and entrepreneurial mindset of Chinese people. They, when they feel they can do something, they just go. It doesn't matter if they are 21, 24, or 40. It doesn't really matter. And we know this, but this is pretty much what I felt that I had to tell to the world, because I love to express my feelings. And that's how I came with this article that started to give me a little bit of, presence online, and people started to share my in my blogs. It's called "The Secrets Behind the Chinese Amazon Sellers as Revealed by Insiders." That's my article. It's something around 10,000 words. So if you think that that article of 2021 was detailed, this is even more. I spent
Oh,
something like
I
three
so
months.
want to
Yeah,
get into that. Man,
yeah,
I'm excited. Yes, we have
yeah.
so much. We need like 5 more sessions because we're gonna pick everything out of your
But
brain.
you know what? I mean, you're probably kidding, but I had 3 sessions with Danny McMillan at Seller Session,
Yeah.
because our interview was so long that he had to split the entire episode into 3. Yes, yes. I think the name of this episode, I think it was released in 2018, right after I published the blog, or 2016, can't remember, probably 2018. How Chinese sellers are winning the race or winning the game, and it was me and him going through, my whole article, because I wrote something like 12 points and we were discussing 3 or 4 per time. So I talk about Chinese culture, black hat, Amazon marketing, how Amazon is growing, why for Western companies it's so hard to get into China, but China can, get into the West and sell every product they want, suppliers, relationship, and, networking, and entrepreneurial mindset, this kind of thing. It was very, very interesting. I remember I had 20,000 visits organic to that blog post in the first month. And then that's where I started getting traction with my agency. So yeah, actually I opened my agency in Hong Kong, because after the first 2 years in China, one seller, another seller, I say, okay, if they can do it, I can do it. I moved to Hong Kong again with all the little savings that I had. And yeah, I just opened my agency, my Amazon consulting agency. And I was, let's say, lucky as a startup at that time, because Hong Kong is super expensive. I mean, there was no Amazon agency in Hong Kong because it's too
Mm.
expensive. All of them would be either in the US, either in China, because China is much cheaper. I was the
Yeah.
only one, the first one in Hong Kong. And that actually was a big benefit for me, because I was the first comer. So positioning myself as Amazon
I
agency for Hong
love
Kong.
Hong Kong. It's such
Yeah,
a, it's yeah. Anyway.
yeah, yeah, it's really cool. I mean,
So what
from
year was it when you started your agency in Hong Kong?
it was
Excuse
2017,
me.
2017, because I arrived in China in almost end of 2014. I stayed there for 2 years. I moved back in Italy for a couple of months. Had to take care of my mom. She was sick at that moment. I left the job end of 2016 and I moved in Hong Kong January 2017. I opened my company, and then I went through all the processes of opening your bank account. I started doing business. The good thing actually that really helped me to kick off and start my business without suffering of being a startup, I actually had a very good cash flow, because at that moment I already had a very good paying client that was Aoki. So Aoki is also one of the top, I think top 10 or top whatever, is on the top of Amazon sellers from China. They currently own, I don't know how many brands. They've been doing a great job. I started off with them as a consultant, and then I remember I was going to their office. I was explaining them PPC and listing optimization and marketing and branding and all this good stuff. And then we started getting more and more projects as translation, social media, influencer marketing. We had a very good relationship with Aoki, almost for 2 years, and we were still in touch. So that was really the first client that allowed me to have a cash flow to invest more, hiring more team members, and then from there it just went on. But the most important thing was for me to realize that actually there was a specific need from my target audience regard to when it comes to knowing what was going on in China. I was getting a lot of emails by European sellers or American sellers that were actually looking for agencies in China, or agencies who were working with Chinese sellers, but all of the agencies were from China. So, and I was at that point one of the very few Western working with Chinese. That was my competitive advantage. It was what really, made me stand out at that point. And I remember one of my then German clients, they invited me to Berlin, having a coffee with them. It was supposed to be for 1 hour. It turned out to be a 5-hour meeting in their office, where they were just asking me about Chinese sellers. What I did, I signed all of their questions that I was responding, talking with them. And I came back to my place, and then I started writing this blog post, the secrets behind, success of Chinese Amazon seller. Definitely, we can share the link later. It's still on my blog.
Yeah, I would love. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna find it. I'll share it in there. That is so cool. I'm so glad that we were talking before we went live, and we were just going back and forth, and I was like, wait, let's go live. I want to hear this. For the first time, because it's never better like the second time when you explain it. It's always good like the first time. So, okay. So, oh my gosh, you have so much experience that, we could literally have a session alone about just social media marketing. We could have, so you have helped a lot of Amazon sellers from many different countries, not only working for them in China on the ground, understanding the inner workings of that, but then also with your own agency. I'm sure, like me with an agency with Amazing at Home, it's like when you work with so many different sellers and so many different product lines, you gain this just breadth of experience that you could never gain on your own. And it's just, you run into like, every time I think I've like heard of everything, or I've run into every possible situation, it's like, whoa, that's one I haven't heard before. Okay, let's figure this out, right? So I love that. I mean, you have so much experience to offer us. So now, wait. We didn't cover, what made you move to Thailand then? So you're in Hong Kong, you started your agency. So how did you move to Thailand? You loved Thailand.
Yeah, I mean, my ultimate goal was to live here. And I had this dream when I was traveling the world, in 2014, because I love, Buddhist culture. I was going to temples, when my first time in Thailand, I pretty much never went to parties, even though I have always been a party animal, but I love the culture. So I liked China. I loved Hong Kong, but I really fell in love too much for Thailand, even more. And so I lived in Hong Kong for 3 years. And because the business was going very well. I mean, before you share with me some of your achievements, and also me, I had this kind of numbers that you share with me, and I decided, okay, it's time for me to do investment. I bought the house where I'm living right now. I paid in cash, and I wanted to have it, near the beach. And I've been traveling around Asia looking for the perfect place, and then I found it here.
So you got a house, right? Can you tell us how much does a decent house on the beach cost in Thailand?
$200K.
I'm moving next week. I'll be there. I've made up my mind. My kids are gonna, be homeschooled from now on. I'll see you next week.
It's a condo. It's a 1-bedroom apartment. It's around 42 square meters. And I'm also getting into this real estate investment. I've been using it as Airbnb investment, and I was making good profit.
Oh, cool.
With the plan that I made, I would have paid back within 9 years.
Wow.
The full of my, yes. So, because I love to talk about investment, I'm also doing investment in Bitcoin and, stock exchange and this kind of thing, real estate, of course. I'm already thinking about getting my second piece of real estate right now. It's, I think that we entrepreneurs, we think like this, you never stop thinking about
and
money.
that's the thing, when you finally start getting past the point where, initially when you become an entrepreneur, you're scared of everything. And it's like, everything is this like in-depth leap. Right. It's like, oh my gosh, another leap. In my mastermind group, we're always talking about fear, because fear is such a real thing for an entrepreneur. Yeah. But then after a while, you realize you're like, okay, this is a process. I'm going to be afraid. I'm going to feel the fear. I'm going to face the fear. I'm going to move forward, and I'm going to jump with confidence because I know I can do it. But then you get to this point where you are making really good money. And you're like, okay, if you're a cheapskate like me, my kids were making fun of me yesterday because I was like, I am such a cheapskate. And they're like, Mom, no, you're not. You spend money on things like vacations and stuff. But I'll wear shoes with holes in them and be like, oh, I guess I should go get a new pair of shoes. I'm just, those kind of things just really aren't important to me, material kind of things. But when you come into that money, then you want to be responsible with it, right? You don't just want to squander it. So I've been also studying real estate. And the reason I haven't taken a leap in real estate is because I want to study it more. I want to protect, just like the richest man in Babylon teaches us, you need to protect small amounts of money first and figure out how to make that go, and then you can invest larger amounts once you get to know. So yeah, I've been looking at so many different investment opportunities now. And for me, I think that I'm really good with business. I can turn around a business. I can make a lot of money in business very, very quickly. So for me, my investments are usually in business, but I also have some Bitcoin. I bought it on a whim. I'm not mad that I bought it on a whim, right? But yeah, I'm with you. Like there comes a point where you're successful and you're like, okay, but I have this little egg here and it's just sitting here. It's not gaining money.
Exactly.
Doing anything. So do you feel that pressure often where you're like, okay, I need to do something with this?
Yeah, well, for me, it would be better to keep it there than, for example, wasting it buying something that I don't need. We always go there trying to impress someone that doesn't give a shit about us. That's the thing. And that's exactly what we said before. The objective is to look poor. Like you don't care what other things about you. If you try so hard to impress the others, you want to look rich, but you're broke and you end up your month with zero in your bank account, then you really have problems. I would like to suggest actually a YouTube channel that I'm following. It doesn't have nothing to do with Amazon, but it gives a lot of inspiration when it comes to managing your own funds. And of course, people like you and me, we know it already, but it's called Minority Mindset. It's this super funny guy. He's American, but I think his culture is from somewhere that I don't know. He's got a very nice hat and he gives amazing tips on how to manage your funds, even starting from $1,000 US. You and me, we will laugh about that, but for the normal people, it's a fact. And I was reading something somewhere a couple of months ago. I don't know which percentage of Americans, like 60 or 70%, don't have $1,000 in savings. And during times like COVID, this is terrible.
Yes. Yeah. Because you're one paycheck away from losing your home, losing everything.
Losing your job. And
yeah. And for me, like when I took the leap to become a full-time entrepreneur and I left my 6-figure, very high paying job to take this leap, and I'm, living in this keeping up with the Joneses house and all that kind of stuff. It was a whole mindset shift, but not only that, what kept me going is I had about 6 months in savings of any of bills, anything, so that all I needed to do was focus on my business. And I didn't need to worry about, oh my gosh, if I don't have the money for that mortgage, if I don't have the money to pay the light bill, So I think financial management is such a core skill for people to have. So many people come to me in private label and they're like, okay, I need money. And I'm like, okay, go do retail arbitrage. This is not a trade your time for money business. It is I'm building something here and it's going to be nice later, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It is, thinking for the long term, thinking for what is really good for yourself. And I see this kind of mistakes everywhere all the time. I mean, we could talk about Amazon business, entrepreneurs who don't really know how to plan their money or their stock or whatever, their product launch. They don't know anything. I mean, it happens. But any kind of business, because, for example, okay, I'm also working in the nightlife. I'm a DJ. If you want to, for example, open a new bar or, starting investing on advertising or something, you need to have a certain budget to spend because, it's especially in times right now. I mean, we're lucky in Thailand because bars are still open, but in the rest of the world, they're not open. But here it's really easy right now to lose money because these times are very uncertain, So it's, I would say that being an entrepreneur makes me see the world in a very, very different way. And it's, I would say it's a very responsible way, and it's more detached from what other people might think. And I mean, you know your worth, and you know what you can do. Exactly as you were saying, you could probably make business with any people, any kind of business, and it's just who you are. It's so cool.
And that's such a beautiful thing. Like when you get there and you're like, I always warn new entrepreneurs about this, because when you do make that leap into full-time entrepreneurship, and I think this happens to a lot of us, so many doors open instantly for you. And it's almost too many doors. At one time, I owned 5 companies. And I was like, I can't do all of these things well. But sometimes, we see these people who have already made it and they're doing all these things, and we don't think about what it took to get them there, right? And all the things but you guys, when you take that full-time leap, all these doors are people are gonna come out of the woodwork. People like Davide are gonna come out of the woodwork, and you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I want to collaborate with them. I want to do something with them. I want to do something with them. Some of us are like staying away from Clubhouse right now because we're like, oh, it's too good. There's too many good people on there. I can't do it. I have too much on my plate. So it's a balance, but it's a beautiful thing, because it's like, you suddenly let go of the old, of where you were kind of like competing and you cared about you're worried about what people think of you, and you move over into this other thing where it's like, okay, these are my people. This is a group of people who are facing their fears, who are moving forward, they're the creators, they're the builders, they're the innovators, they are the legacy builders for the future. And now you're part of that group. So suddenly it's like, it's so connected compared to the old life of just reporting to work every day, right? Exactly. And when you bond with people, you're just like instantly like, okay, let's do something together. It's, and so it's hard because you want to start businesses with everybody, but you have to balance that. You have to balance that, and you have to kind of go, okay, who do I joint venture with? Who do I do something fun with? Who do I help promote? And we just, just hang out, who's good to be in my network. And then who is it that needs to be a partner, or maybe not, maybe you're not a partnership kind of person. But either way, like all of us have that kind of self-discovery phase. It's like being reborn as an entrepreneur, right? I love that. So let's get into, both of us can probably tell so many Amazon seller stories, but let's end today with talking about this article that you did on Trends, because you reached out to all the who's who in the industry, myself included. I felt very, very nice for you asking me to be part of that. And you wrote this in-depth article tiny article for you of, of what was going on. And you asked, it was a lot of people wrote articles on trends. A lot of
Yeah.
people did. But what was different about yours is you said, no, Amy, I don't just want your blurb. I want you to give people actions. I want pictures. I want, you know, and so I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to have to take some time on this. But so that's what we got, a bunch of actionable tips. So what were your favorite tips out of this trends article for 2020?
Oh my God, you asking me this? Of course.
Yes.
No.
Was there any tips in there that you were like, ooh, I'm gonna use that?
Okay, so first I actually want to jump in and tell you something. I hate, and I'm sorry if I'm offending some of the top experts here who didn't participate, or sometime I didn't feature in the other articles because they send me like 2 lines. I hate when I send you an email, I spend my time and I tell you, please give me actionable tips for sellers, and then they just send me 2 lines without any referral, without any backlink, nothing. It's not because I do it for my SEO, because I want to make sure that you give me good information, not just because it's your name and you're top of the industry. No one cares, okay? So I really appreciate what you did. You actually gave me one of the best structured answers there, okay? And I really don't want to diminish anyone else, but you did a very good job. And the others are giving me a lot of value. I published all of those who answered my questions, so I turned down no one. Also because they already know me, so they know the drill already. Before, when referrals were missing or information were missing, I would do the research myself to back up what they were saying, and I would still give them the credit. It's okay. Why? Because I want my blog, since the very first article that we shared, to be top of information for Amazon sellers, everything for free. I never ask even for emails. Can you imagine that? I never even ask, leave the email and I will send you a free guide or subscribe to our new newsletter. No. So because a part of me doesn't like that, but I will probably implement that soon on my blog. I have to start to monetize also my visits on that point of view. But anyway, I always want everyone to give me their secrets, their gold, and that's what I'm looking for, because that's the best way to actually keep the readers coming and keep the readers see you as an authority in what you're saying. So every blog post that we write has got a lot of details, images, backlinks, source quote, etc. I take these things very, very seriously. So regarding the answers, I guess that everyone who talked about advertising, including you talked more specifically about ranking and how to dominate Amazon in 2021. I remember this is it. You all would agree on the fact that Amazon is expanding their advertising tools. It's going to look more like Google and Facebook. And it's also obvious, if you want to get more money because you want to steal marketplace, you need to upgrade your tools, of course. And it's going to give to the user a more, as you said, engaging and interactive experience. I really love that. It was really good. I mean, live selling videos, Amazon stores, more images, more videos. And we as agencies, we need to update. We as sellers, we need to update. We need to know everything, So
and what's exciting about that is that Amazon Live and Amazon Posts are organic. So, people worry about, I don't have enough margin to spend money on PPC. Okay, well, we need to fix your business if that's the case. But either way, like, you guys, the opportunity to build an audience on Amazon is coming, and it's already there. They're making changes every day. Yesterday, Leron posted about how he saw video ads at the bottom of page 2, which is new. And then I found, when I was writing the blurb for your article, I found an Amazon Live inside of another product page. Huge.
Yeah.
Like, if you can go inside your competitor's product page and put a live video that's not an advertisement, it's literally you going live on your phone or whatever, talking about your product. Do you know, like, who's going to be more engaged? Oh, there's a coffee maker up here. It looks pretty like a coffee maker. And then oh, what's this robot doing? Why is there a cat on it? Oh, that's cool. You know, like
Yeah,
I'm going
yeah,
over here, right? So there's so many opportunities for organic growth in this new kind of interactive, engaging platform that Amazon is building. And not only that, they're taking over the world because they have devices in everybody's home. I'm over here looking at my little Echo Dot that's on my desk. I have one in every room in my house, including my kids' rooms, right? And I know she's listening. I know, it's fine. But huge opportunity, because on every device, I have Amazon Fire TVs across my house. And Amazon Fire TVs, this is so important for people, especially that are overseas that don't know. But Amazon Fire TVs, we've got in the US, so many people are cutting the cable cord. They're cutting the cable cord. They don't want to pay for cable anymore. They're streaming only. So they're buying these devices. So we have a couple of choices for devices, right? We have the Google Chromecast, I think it is. We have Roku TV. We've got Apple TV. You know, those are pretty popular, but Fire TV is by far the most popular because you can put third-party apps on it, which allows you to stream far more than you can stream with any other device that locks you into proprietary programming that you're paying for every month, right? Yeah. So everybody has these Fire TVs because they're so programmable and everything, and they're selling them. They're buying Fire TV sticks and they're programming them. They're reselling them on Facebook. I mean, really, Amazon was very smart about that. They're even with, I don't want to say her name, even with my Echo speaker here, with this technology, you can create apps for it. And the app store for, you know, Alexa is very, very big. Okay, stop, Alexa, stop. Anyway, Andy always does the dance party thing and gets everybody's speaker going when we're doing SRTs. But I mean, you guys on these Amazon, so I just kind of set the stage for you. There's millions of households in the United States of America that have these Fire TVs. There's millions of Airbnbs. And on these Fire TVs, on the home screen, on the main menu, the second option in on that top menu, just like the edit button on your Microsoft Word document, is live.
Yeah.
It's the live button. So here, what they're doing is they are wanting these lives to actually become like their own version of YouTube. So it's so important to pay attention to live. It's so important to pay attention to posts, because those are it's like free advertising from Amazon, and you can be on your competitors' pages. So I think like that's the biggest trend. And then also storefronts, you know, all of that. Yeah. So now I'm going to shut up. Sorry, you got me on a soapbox there.
Well, you did an amazing job.
But it's so exciting to me. You know, there's not enough time in the day. I need to hire like you from like 20 years ago. I can't afford you anymore, right? But I need to hire you from 20 years ago when I need someone like that that's excited about like, yes, let's you know, for me, I'm in the cat business. I'm the cat lady. And you know, first you could review other people's products along with your own. Like think about like the top 10 best cat toys on the market. Of course, mine's in there. I mean, it's fun. But you know, you could do so much with that. Think bigger than just your brand. Everybody always wants to jump right to the sale, right? But think bigger than just your brand, and think like, oh my gosh, I could build an incredible following on Amazon, and it's going to pour over to all these devices. It's just, I'm excited about it.
You know, just again to jump in, if you would say that, for example, Brian Johnson, he said something, he didn't directly refer to live, but he said it's gonna be more customer centric. You know, customers are gonna look for something in this listing, in this page, in this estate on Amazon. What's in for me? That's what he said. It's exactly the same thing. Even if he didn't mention live, he didn't mention post, but it's, you know, it's all about attention, customization, and you'll say it in a different way, but I say that, you know, a little bit echoing Brian, who didn't say this, and I say that it's not anymore about trying to trick the algorithm. It's more about trying to see what your clients, what your customers want today, and it's all about this. And you can definitely do it also with organic space. Now it's a little bit complicated because you definitely, of course, you need to pay for your advertising and getting the organic space. I would say let's try to enjoy for now, as long as we have this organic space, because sooner or later, as it happened for Facebook. I remember in 2010, I was social media community manager. My job was to post on the page like 2 or 3 times, and we had thousands of likes. I remember we were just giving away a ticket for any music concerts, and we had thousands of shares.
And
That's
today
organic.
you have like
Organic.
3.
Yeah. And
What
the
happened?
interaction rate was like 70%. 70% of your followers, of your fans on Facebook, at least, would organically see your post on their news feed. Now it's like 1%, 2%. You need to pay for that. So I think probably the same thing will happen to Amazon, but not in 2021, of course, in 2025 or 27, for example, when they will give you so much space for live, for organic posts, for everything. Of course, the platform will evolve, will become more like social media kind of marketplace. And then you will slowly have to pay also for that. PPC would be very expensive. And then in order to go live, you will have to be eligible, with some terms. You probably will have to pay for something, for example, we can take a look at TikTok. Now it has the girl that I already interviewed on my YouTube channel. By the way, if you guys want to know more about TikTok, go and check it out. We made one blog and one YouTube video. Most of the interaction is organic, and of course TikTok is trying to attract sellers and businesses and influencers, giving a lot of organic space for free. They already have developed ads, but it's not as strong as Facebook and Instagram and all the other platforms. But for sure they will turn into a paid platform, because it's always this: you give for free, and then when it's the right time, bump, charge.
That's definitely, every software platform that's out there, especially social media, has always started very free, and get users on the platform, grow the bigger your audience, the more, you can get advertisers for, right? The more you can sell ads, and then, the better your data analytics on your users. If you guys haven't watched The Social Dilemma on Netflix, check it out. It's very good. But yeah, it's really cool to see the way that works. But whenever we can become early adopters, it's really a cool way to do things. So yeah, I love it. So what else? What else do you think that we should really be paying attention to? Of course, video is key. We got to all get better at video. We got to get better at branding. We have to get better at connecting with our customers. That is really, like you were saying with Brian Johnson's comment there, it is, what's in it for me? I mean, I know, like, when we talk about our 7 photo strategy that we give during our listing optimization masterclass, people just change out their photos, just taking the customer through that sales cycle in their photos, and their conversions just immediately increase, because you're telling the customer, what's in it for me? Why? How is this going to help me in my life, instead of, it's a stainless steel water bottle. Good for you, right? So we have to do better. And I think that I would love to hear your opinion on this with your experience in China. I think that this is something that we can do better than China.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yay!
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what I always tell people, because they're worried about these Chinese sellers and everything like that. And I'm like, look, you can build a brand, and you can connect with consumers better than just offering the lowest price.
Yeah, of course. I wrote an entire new second blog post on how to fight unfair competition on Amazon. I literally went through all the black hat tactics, all the attacks from Chinese sellers, and then, I mean, I don't want to be racist. It's not only Chinese sellers, okay? So we have to be fair here.
Yes, exactly. You don't just want to assume that because they're competing with you that they're a Chinese seller. I mean, and like I said, I'm working with this brand right now in China, and they're really incredible. I mean, they have provided goods for some of the major retailers. So, now they want a little, direct to consumer fun. And I'm actually excited to help them. And, but it is clear that they're not as good at the consumer side, and they don't completely understand the American consumer. And that is where we have the leg up, because it's the connection is everything in America. If anything shows by our social media love, our TikTok love, it's that we crave connection. And
Yeah,
if we
exactly.
don't have a brand that's filling that out, then so we all
Exactly.
have to
I mean,
change our mindset. It's not about a quick buck. If you think of starting your own brand as a quick buck, you're gonna miss the boat,
not
and
gonna
you're not
make
gonna
it.
make any
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, look what had the major boom during the COVID pandemic. Social network. Zoom calls. E-commerce, any kind of social media live. Everyone now is online because you can't have the face-to-face interaction. And some people might love it because they have to stay home anyway. But most of us are trying to do social interaction in one way or another. So yeah, but if I have to say, actually, what would be hot for this year, I made it clear for each and every speaker that we would talk about many different topics. You remember, I sent this large email where I told you, okay, pick only one or two or three of those topics, and I gave you like 8 topics. So we talked also about inventory, what's going to change with reviews and messaging, how to sell your Amazon business. That's a trend that is, I mean, it's a really, really hot topic. I was on the phone with my business partner before in Italy, because now we have also spin-off in Italy, and he was telling me, so some of those friends, what they do, they don't just buy Amazon business. What they do is they reflip businesses that are doing very poorly but have a good potential. So they buy for $4 and then they reoptimize within a year. They put it on steroids and then they just resell it. And I thought, why didn't think about this myself before?
You're slacking. But yeah, I've thought about that too, because there's so many. Andy and I have Rebate Jet, which is where people can list their liquidations, and there's always like new liquidations that have a lot of potential, and it's just a seller that doesn't know what they're doing with optimization and branding. And then there's some that, yeah, you got to liquidate that. That's a dog right there. But and then we also have a Facebook group called Wholesale and Bulk Lots, where you can like list your, products that you want to sell in bulk, your liquidation, stuff like that. And when I see that stuff in there, it's a squirrel for me. I want to go chase the squirrel. I want to go like give that CPR, revive it. Like, oh, I could sell that. I could sell that all day long. Right. So I love those like opportunities, but they do take management and they do take oversight and, they do take time, but the payoff can be huge. Right.
Yeah. And I think for people like us, that, as you said before, we've been selling products on Amazon across multiple categories, and it would be just easy. And if anything, it would be just a new challenge, so it would be super easy. Then getting back to the trends that I had for this year, there is still some black hats. I mean, I would just we can link to the article to read in details. And then some new marketplace. Let's look a little bit into Asia, and then that's pretty much it. Advertising is changing, is evolving. Amazon wants more and more of the cake, pretty much. Try to be careful on how to get more organic engagement. Try to keep yourself updated as a seller with all the different branding options that Amazon gives you. You have to be brand registered all the time. That's like top priority. Then engage with your customers, and beware that you can sell your business and you can make a lot of money. And black hat is still there, and new marketplaces are opening up, and there's a huge opportunity. So this is pretty much a summary of what will happen in 2021.
So we always do this, like we usually ask 2 questions, and I'm going to ask these 2 questions before we go. And of course, we will also end with you telling everyone how they can access all these great blogs and everything. But question number 1, If you had one piece of advice to give to someone just starting out about strategy, about mindset, just starting out in private label, saying, hey, I've heard about this Amazon thing. I think I'm going to get into it. What's your one piece of advice for them?
Okay, so I hear a lot of people, I get this kind of messages every day. Like, hey, David, I have 5,000 US dollar. I think I should start a business on Amazon. What do you think?
Yeah. That's a common. How much money do I need? I hear that all the time.
How much money do I need? So you have to have this clear in your mind. It's if you wanna have a reward as a real business, you have to treat it as a real business. And I've been saying that for so long, and I think I've been discussing this live in an interview together with I think it was Kevin King. And if you want to make it a business, you need to treat it as a business. So don't just think, okay, I have X amount of US dollar. First of all, maybe 5,000 is not enough. Someone said in 2018 you need $20,000 to start a business on Amazon. 2021 probably is going to be more than that. So that's my first advice: be creative, and treating it as a business means you have to plan everything ahead. You need to network with other people. You need to constantly get different ideas. For example, we can always learn. Like, you have the strategy for the 7 images. We don't use a strategy right now, but I would love to know what you are doing. You, for example, you would love what we're doing with our PPC. I spent 2 years of my first agency consultant life speaking about PPC. What are the most common mistakes that Amazon sellers do on their PPC? And probably this year I will start turning all of those slides into blog posts, because I didn't have the time before, and they're still valid right now because the platform changes, but the basics are always the same. And so this is my advice: don't think that you're gonna make money easy on Amazon. That's the most common mistake for newbies who are starting on Amazon. Because what's happening, for example, in Italy right now is that Amazon is becoming a big thing. You have the first Amazon agencies popping out, the first entrepreneurs, and you have advertising on how to start selling on Amazon. And this is so stupid. People fall in the trap because they don't know. In this trap that you can make money easy selling on Amazon. Started with 1,000 US dollar. This is what was going on in the US probably 5 years ago, right?
Yes.
Now
there's people selling courses in Romania, and I mean, so I love it because it gets people out of their comfort zone and it helps them. But then I hate it because it's like, because I get these clients, I keep my coaching prices very, very affordable because I have a heart for new sellers, and nobody is going to get started in this business and pay $600 an hour for a coaching session. They're just not. And so I limit my schedule, and it gets booked up very fast, but I keep it
maybe 300. Yes.
Yes, exactly. Oh, I'm going to have to raise the prices eventually, but but anyway, the point is, so I get these people every day that come to me with, number one, they've spent $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 on courses. They have a product that is very saturated, that there's nothing special about it. They can't answer my key question is, why should I buy from you? Why should I buy from you and not one of these other 50 pages of advertisements in your listing? They can't answer that question. And that is the key question right there. If you can't answer that, you don't have a brand, you don't have anything of value. So you have to, that's my piece of advice, you guys, is it's okay to use the software that's out there for data points, but you got to think about the customer first.
Yeah.
Think about the customer and why they buy products. Like, that's so, so, so important. So anyway, I love that piece of advice of treat it like a business. And what that means is have a plan, know where you're going, and know who the hell your customer is. Because if you don't have a unique offering for your customer, if you don't know why the customer should buy from you, you don't have a business. You have something that's going to fail very quickly. So think about it that way. Yes, there's opportunity on Amazon. Yes, you can make a lot of money on Amazon, but you're not going to have a Lamborghini tomorrow unless you Photoshop it. So, we need to work for that. So I love that. Okay, next, motivation. Andy and I always ask this question. What are you doing for your growth right now? Your motivation? Are you listening to any podcasts? Are you reading any books? Did you read one book in 2020 that just made a huge difference for you? I know you told us about Minority Mindset on YouTube. I'm going to go check that out. But what are your go-to motivation materials that keep you going as an entrepreneur?
That's a good question. So I'm not, I love reading. I don't consume that many books. I consume a lot of articles online. I mean, I'm a blog guy and I consume a lot of YouTube videos. That's why I'm shifting a little bit more into YouTube. Even though it takes time, I know, being a YouTuber is a full-time job. I understand it right now. Like to upload a 20 minutes video, it took me 3 hours, and I've been doing it for a year, because you need to create the video, edit the video, optimize for SEO. Exactly.
So I trained my 11-year-old how to do it, and she can do 10 videos in 1 hour.
That's great.
So if you need to hire her, she might be available.
Yeah. When it comes to, motivate myself, I like to listen to other entrepreneurial stories. I listened a lot to this collection of podcasts by Naval last year. Don't remember the name right now of the podcast itself. How to get rich, something like that. How to get rich, probably, right? And I like to differentiate my space of knowledge, because I like to enjoy my life. I can also make money when I throw a party.
Yeah.
Because, for example, here in Thailand, it works like this. You make an agreement with a club, and you get 20% of the bar sales that night. And seriously, it's so amazing.
And then you play music that encourages people to drink more.
Yeah, exactly. And people in my position, they would pay to play music. What happened with me? I stopped DJing for 5 years, and then I came back last year, and I literally passed from no one knows me in this island to playing to the top club in 3 months or 4 months. Why? Because I approached this as a business. I didn't just approach it as a DJ looking for attention, something like that. No, I had this business background. I think I had an interview with Mike Michelini from Global from Asia, and we were planning to have another interview with Anthony Cofrancesco about different entrepreneurial adventures and path. And this is also very interesting. I mean, you can apply it to music, to parties, to any other kind of business. Mm-hmm. If you really know how to make money, how to sell yourself, you're going to succeed in anything you do. Yeah.
You can monetize anything. That's what I love about entrepreneurship and business. Yeah. I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
So how can we stalk you? That's my last question.
So you tagged my page, We Are Growth Hack. I mean, my business name is quite easy to remember, wearegrowthhack.com. Growth Hack Consulting is the name of my agency, but the domain is quite easy. And we are like this pretty much everywhere: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. So We Are Growth Hack. I am the only one. Today, I just discovered that I got someone, taking inspiration from my name. Let's say like this. They're called We Are Growth Hackers, and they didn't exist until a few weeks ago. So yeah. And
are you trademarked?
Yes, of course.
Oh, well, you might need to do a little desist letter for them. Because Amazing at Home is trademarked, and if someone else did, so yeah, I would definitely.
I need to contact someone. But
you gotta get those hackers.
Yeah, it's super easy to find me, and Davide Nicolucci on LinkedIn, Facebook, pretty much everywhere. I would say you get the best of my information on my blog and on my YouTube channel. And then if you want to really stalk my personal life, just find me on Instagram.
Okay, stalking on Instagram, wearegrowthhack.com. And a YouTube channel is also called We Are Growth Hack. And don't believe in those We Are Growth Hackers on Facebook. They're just cheaters. And just Davide, thank you so much for being here. I mean, I had so much fun talking to you. I could, like, we need to have you back on for the China stuff. We need to talk about PPC. We can talk about social media all day long, just
Yeah.
marketing in general. So we've got at least 5 more sessions to do. So I'm going to put you on the hook for those.
Okay.
Thanks everybody for listening. I hope you learned as much as I did today. Just like, yes, it was very inspirational. So awesome. And you guys rate, review, subscribe to the Seller Roundtable, and you know, reach out with any questions. I'll put the links to all of, you know, the minority mindset and some of the other things that we mentioned here. Yep, and then make sure that I put the links to We Are Growth Hack as well, so you guys can check out all those blogs. Man, those sound cool. I can't wait to get into them. So thank you guys so much. Thank you, Davide, for being here. I'm going to sign off, and we'll see you guys next time on Tuesday. Who do we have on Tuesday? I believe it is Isabella Hamilton, if I'm not mistaken, from Rank Bell. So, you know, we'll see you guys Tuesday. Join us live every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific time at sellerroundtable.com/live. So we'll see you. Bye, everybody.